Hello everyone, this is Saman Sareem at SS Medics and today we are going to talk about pneumonia. In this presentation, we will discuss about typical pneumonia and atypical pneumonia. We will also discuss about lobar pneumonia, bronchopneumonia and interstitial pneumonia. Then we will talk about the most common pathogens. Then we will also discuss about the investigations that are routinely done and how do we assess a pneumonia patient by the curved 65 scoring and how do we manage them and the most important antibiotic regimes that we must know as a doctor. So all of this will be discussed today in this presentation. So coming on to typical pneumonia, well, pneumonia is simply the infection and inflammation of the lung tissue. The typical pneumonia refers to the typical presentation of pneumonia in our GP settings, and that is that a patient presents with fever, rigors, chills, dry cough initially, and which converts into rusty sputum production, and also with pleuritic chest pain. So these are the most common symptoms that are normally presented in our GP settings. And when we do the physical examination, we find the signs of consolidation. There will be dull percussion note, the vocal resonance and vocal fragments will be increased, patient will be having bronchial breathing and crackles may also be present. If we order the chest x-ray, we can find out the typical presentations like lobar pneumonia and bronchopneumonia. We will discuss their x-rays in the next slide. So this is how a typical patient of pneumonia presents. And the most common pathogens that are involved, these are strep pneumonia and H. influenza. So here comes the chest x-ray of typical pneumonia. As you can see that in this, you can see that a whole lobe of the lung tissue is involved. There is a homogeneous opacification. This is also seen here. This is this homogeneous opacification. Now this black tissue, small black tissue that is seen, this is the bronchus containing the air and the white opacification surrounding it. This is called as air bronchogram. And these air bronchograms basically differentiate a consolidation from a collapse. In a consolidation, the alveolar tissue or the lung parenchyma, it will be consolidated, means it will be filled with the exudates, but the bronchi, they will remain open, they will stay patent. But in the case of collapse, the bronchi as well as the lung tissue, it collapses and there won't be any air bronchograms. So these air bronchograms is very important feature to differentiate between a consolidation and a collapse. So here you can see that this is lobar pneumonia. And coming on to the bronchopneumonia, it will be a heterogeneous opacification, as you can also see here. And bronchopneumonia most commonly involves both bilaterally lower lung lobes. Now coming on to the atypical presentation of pneumonia, that is also called as the atypical pneumonia. The main difference is that the respiratory signs and symptoms, they are not compatible with the chest x-ray findings. Signs and symptoms are minimal, but the chest x-ray, it shows infiltrates. So that is why it is also called as walking pneumonia, as the signs and symptoms, they are minimal. So the patient is able to walk through the whole day and to perform his whole day activities. That is why it is also called as the walking pneumonia. And as you're saying that the signs and symptoms are very minimal, it also tells us that it has a very indolent course. It develops over a period of 2 to 3 weeks. So initially the patient will only be having fever, malaise and non-productive cough. There won't be any signs of consolidation on the physical examination. But when we order chest x-ray, that will show diffuse infiltration of the interstitium. That is why these types of pneumonias are also called as the interstitial pneumonias. Now coming on to the chest x-ray of atypical pneumonia, in these x-rays you cannot appreciate any particular lobar opacification or any heterogeneous opacification like that of a bronchopneumonia. Instead, what you can appreciate are these vascular markings, these white lines which are going from the center to the periphery. These lines are very prominent. You can also appreciate in both of these x-rays. So these lines, they tell us about the interstitial exudates, and this is called as the interstitial pneumonia, in which there is no particular lobe involvement or bronchopneumonia, but instead the interstitium of the whole lungs that is involved. Coming on to the pathogens most commonly involved in the pneumonia. For the atypical pneumonia, the list is a bit short. These are mostly five organisms: Mycoplasma pneumoniae, Chlamydia pneumonia, Chlamydia psittacosis, Coxiella burnetii or Q fever, and Legionella pneumophila. These are five organisms that are most commonly responsible for the atypical presentations of pneumonia. While coming on to the typical presentation of pneumonia, we have to know if that pneumonia is community acquired, hospital acquired, or it's a pneumonia in the immunocompromised, or it's a suppurative pneumonia, or if it's an aspiration pneumonia. Well, if it's a community acquired pneumonia, the most important pathogens that we are dealing with will be strep pneumonia and H influenza. If it's a hospital acquired pneumonia, so we have to differentiate if it's an early onset hospital acquired or late onset hospital acquired. If the patient has acquired pneumonia within 5 days of admission to the hospital, it is called as early onset hospital acquired pneumonia, and the organisms will be similar to that of the community acquired. But if the patient has uh, acquired pneumonia after 5 days of admission to the hospital, so we are most probably dealing with late onset hospital acquired pneumonia, and the pathogens are very notorious like MRSA, Klebsiella, or Pseudomonas. Similarly, if the pneumonia develops in an immunocompromised patient, the organisms will be very difficult, very notorious to treat, and these are Pneumocystis gyrovicile, Pseudomonas, and Nocardia. Similarly, if the patient is having suppurative pneumonia, the most probable organisms, they will be anaerobes. Here is the list of investigations that we can order in different presentations of pneumonia. From the blood, we can take CBC, urea, and electrolytes, cold agglutinin, serology titers or ABGs. And from the sputum, we can do gram staining, culture insensitivity, and we can also do the swab test for PCR. Despite also we have to do the chest X-ray as well. Now, after confirming that the patient is having pneumonia and either that pneumonia is typical or atypical, community acquired or hospital acquired, whatever that type of pneumonia is, we have to assess the severity of pneumonia. And we do that by CURB 65 scoring, where C stands for confusion, U stands for urea more than 20 milligram per deciliter, R stands for respiratory rate more than 30 per minute, B stands for blood pressure less than 90/60, and if the age is more than 65. So these are 5 points and we give 1 point for each. If the whole score of the patient lies between 0 to 1, we can treat them as outdoors. If the patient score is 2, we can observe them for a short interval of time in the hospital. But if the score is 3, 4 or 5, that is a red flag that indicates severe pneumonia and we have to treat them in ICU. So the management guidelines for a pneumonia patient include that we can give them oxygen, IV fluids, antibiotics, analgesics, assisted ventilation if required, and physiotherapy. Now coming on to the most commonly used antibiotic regimes. If the patient is having uncomplicated community acquired pneumonia, that is for the strep pneumonia and H influenza pneumonia, the organisms we can the antibiotic regimes, they can be amoxicillin 500 mg TDS for 7 days, clarithromycin 500 mg BD, or erythromycin 500 mg QID. These last two, clarithromycin and erythromycin, they also cover the atypical organisms. If it's a very severe pneumonia by the atypical organisms, ultimately we have to give them azithromycin. If we are suspecting staph, we can give them flucloxacillin 1 gram QID. For the complicated community acquired pneumonia or for the severe atypical pneumonia or caused by the Legionella or Q fever, we have to give them azithromycin 500 mg IV plus ceftriaxone 1 gram IV TDS. Thank you so much for listening to the video. As you know that these are review videos, and once you have completed your topic from your textbook, if you want to review it before your viva or before your exams, this will be a very good video to have to listen to. If you like the content, please share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.